Okay, I think we're good to start. Welcome. I was trying to confirm, of course, the arrival of some of our dignitaries. This morning, we're going to be joined by top government functionary. Of course, the DG of NEPC is here with us. And of course, you're going to definitely get to see her and, of course, get to interact with her later. Ladies and gentlemen, to give a welcome address, I'd like to welcome the man behind the vision, whose work has spanned over decades in Nigeria and has made immense contribution to economic development, job creation, and of course, contributing immensely to the GDP of Nigeria, Mr. Vinay Matani, who is the Group Managing Director of the Churchgate Group, the developer of the World Trade Center here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, for a welcome address, please help me welcome with a resounding applause in the chat room. I'm not going to call my DMD if you don't clap for him. Of course, is our host, is the reason why we are here. Is a man who has put all of us together to do this incredible work we are doing to help the country, and of course to provide this platform for all of you to learn from these great people. Please give a resounding applause in the chat room, as I'm only seeing one hand. I need to see more hands before I welcome my GMD. Please make it resounding. Please make it resounding. Thank you, Temitope. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you. Please, the Group Managing Director, who also doubles as the President of the World Trade Center in Abuja, Mr. Vinay Matani, to give you a welcome address. Thank you very much, sir. GMD.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So good morning, everyone. I'd like to first begin by warmly welcoming all our distinguished guests, panelists, partners, and participants. We're honored to be joined by representatives of the Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, and the Honorable Minister of State. Your presence is sincerely appreciated and reflects the importance of this dialogue. We're also grateful to have with us trade experts, private sector leaders, representatives of development institutions, and academia. Your insights will be central to shaping today's conversation. This webinar is part of the World Trade Center Abuja's broader mission to catalyze Nigeria's trade and economic transformation. As we all know, the global environment is shifting rapidly, with global trade hitting a record $33 trillion in 2024. We are also seeing increasing volatility, driven by trade tensions, economic nationalism, and shifting global alliances. These disruptions present both risks, but also opportunities. The key question remains, how will Nigeria respond? As Africa's largest economy, Nigeria holds enormous potential, but unlocking that potential requires deliberate action. Diversifying our export base, investing in globally competitive sectors, and building resilience beyond oil must become urgent national priorities. WTC Abuja is committed to playing its part. Our vision is to serve as a practical platform, not just a symbol, for trade, facilitation, investment promotion, and enterprise growth. Through our global network and trade services, we aim to empower Nigerian businesses to scale with confidence. In that light, today marks an important milestone. We're proud to also unveil two new initiatives here at WTC Abuja. Firstly, our Export Launchpad, and secondly, the WTC Abuja Trade Desk, designed to support businesses in overcoming export barriers and accessing international markets. My colleague will speak in detail about these shortly. At its core, today's event is about dialogue. It's about bridging public and private perspectives, shaping a national conversation on trade competitiveness, and proposing bold, actionable reforms to address systemic challenges that continue to hold us back. As we look ahead to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement and deeper regional integration, collaboration is not just desirable, it is essential. I'm confident that the expertise and diversity of the voices here today will make for a rich and productive conversation. On behalf of the entire team at WTC Abuja, I reaffirm our commitment to working with all stakeholders, both in government and the private sector, to reposition Nigeria as a competitive and resilient global trade actor. With that, I'm honored to officially declare this webinar open. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, GMD. Thank you. On behalf of all of us at World Trade Center and on behalf of Nigeria, we thank you for the incredible work you're doing and the vision you are championing here at the World Trade Center and every other subsidiary of the organization. Thank you so much, GMD. We are most grateful to you. And thank you for that. Without wasting your time, I am still waiting for the signal of the representative of the Honorable Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment, who is currently attending the WTO Ministers Forum in France. As soon as I get the signal from them, I definitely, will give you the recognition required. So today, as already established, I stand on the existing, already established protocol by my GMD. And of course, we honor and recognize everyone present here today. Top government functionaries here, we're going to recognize you as at when to you. And of course, want to thank all our speakers and panelists who have volunteered, to do this with us. One of the things you're going to understand at the end of today is how you can launch your export business leveraging the World Trade Center. Now, let me make it clear. The World Trade Center Nigeria is one of a large network of over 333 World Trade Centers across over 120 countries of the world. So we are your most trusted partner for market expansion and investment attraction. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back here, make sure that you have your notepads on, and make sure that you stay till the end of the webinar. Because during the opening remark of my GMD, he had mentioned that we are launching 2 of our initiatives. And for some of you that know me personally, I had already, hinted you that the WTC Export Launchpad is by far one of the most important platforms you're going to have to come on board of to launch your export business. And by the virtue of your participation today, I assure you that you're going to be one of the very first beneficiaries of this initiative. And of course, our trade desk as well. You're going to have first-hand information about market access, about how you go about your export, about niching down, in the export business or import as the case may apply. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, at this time, without wasting your time, I'd like to welcome our keynote speaker. He's a man that is well known within the industry. In my words, I call him a god in the industry. And if you permit me, I will read his biography or his profile very briefly. Please, I'd like to also, at this point, read the profile of Professor Jonathan Aremu. Okay, thank you. I'm back. Professor Jonathan Adeyemi Aremu is a professor of international economic relations and former acting vice chancellor of the Covenant University, Ota, Nigeria, between the year 2004 and 2005. He's also a consultant at Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, on Common Investment Market, Abuja. Aremu started a successful career at the Central Bank of Nigeria, where he rose to assistant economist in 1980 to become the acting assistant director of research, before voluntarily retiring in December 1992 and established Market Link Consult in 1998. At the national level, Aremu was among the experts appointed by the federal government of Nigeria in 2012 to develop a trade policy for implementation in Nigeria in October 2018. He was a member of the Technical Working Group on Nigeria Impact Readiness Assessment of the AFCFTA, that's the African Continental Free Trade Area, and currently a member of the National Action Committee on AFCFTA. Aremu was appointed as the national consultant of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, that developed AFCFTA national strategy for Nigeria. He was also a coordinator in one of the main technical working groups established by the federal government of Nigeria to develop the National Development Plan of 2021 to 2050. He's also the consultant that developed the adopted Nigerian investment policy in May 2023. In the ECOWAS region, he was appointed by the European Union as the monitoring expert for the preparation of an ECOWAS investment guarantee reassurance mechanism in 2012, and financial expert that drafted ECOWAS Common Investment Code, code and policy by European Union. He is the lead consultant on the Common Investment Market and coordinates the establishment of ECOWAS Payment and Settlement System, EPSS, West African Capital Market Integration, ECOWAS Common Investment Code and Policy, among other, till present. At the regional level, it was at the continental and international level. Aremu, the national coordinator and country team lead of UNIDO Investment Survey in Nigeria between 2009 and 2012, and a member of technical experts and that developed the Pan-African Investment Code and was used to develop an adopted investment protocol of AFCFTA. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome a renowned professor and a father of the industry and a leading change maker on the continent of Africa, Professor Jonathan Aremu. If your hands are not in the chat room, I'm not going to hand over the mic to him. Thank you, Lorenzo. I want more hands in the chat room. Thank you, Jude. Thank you, all of you. Okay, Mrs. Osla, thank you, all of you, for clapping. Professor Jonathan, I yield the mic to you.
Thank you very much. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Yes, sir, you can share your screen.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, thank you. You can see my screen? Can you all see my screen, please?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet, sir.
Sorry.
Okay, sir. One of our technical team is going to share from our end right now, of course, so that they can then help you.
Okay,
yes.
you can do that.
The screen is up.
Is it up?
It's up now. Can we get the full screen? Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone. Please, I've been introduced, but first and foremost, let me thank the World Trade Center for introducing me, for bringing me up for this particular wonderful program. I recognize my wonderful sister, the current Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, whom I'm sure is going to send somebody, and he has been somebody that I know very well. I'm very active, a woman. I can equally see another sister of mine, who is the CEO of the Export Promotion Council of Nigeria. That's Sister Noye Ayeni. Thank you for coming as well. Well, the topic is Nigerian trade competitiveness, and under it I've been assigned to look at the rethinking of the Nigerian trade strategy in the midst of emerging tariff trap and global protectionism. Next, please. No, just the first one, please. The first one, the outline, yes, the outline is shown, as you can see. Introduction, brief issues about tariff, Nigerian tariff structure, national competitiveness and tariff, and strategy for navigating the uncertainty and barrier, including in tariff, as a result of what is currently happening with the current protectionism that is coming on board. Then sustainable trade competitiveness for Nigeria. And then I conclude. Next one. Next, please. Well, trade competition is the ability of a country to successfully compete. It's even that of a company to compete as well under a free and fair condition in the global market space. For us in economics, this is usually being argued based on comparative advantages. And the basic economic theory, particularly with respect to trade theory, is a comparative advantage. That's the ability of a country to be able to outshine other in terms of reproductive capacity. Understanding Nigerian performance on this aspect of trade provides a very serious guide for a search into what do we do with our competitiveness and what other things have we done, particularly with respect to the tariff structure. Next one, please. I'll be very happy if the person can move fast. Next. Are you sharing for me? So what are the basic things about tariff? Well, tariff, you already know, is a tax that is imposed by government that is importing goods and services. And usually it's a tool in international trade, which can be used to be able to put higher price on imported products so that the domestic one can compete better. But it can be implemented, used as equally for infant industry in countries. And we have been back on this one right from the time of before our independence. But when tariff is imported, it increases the price of goods. And next, please look at that small diagram which I put there. Next one, please. I will appreciate the person sharing to move along with my tongue. No? Yes. Okay. Now look at that particular diagram. The P star is the world price. But when an optimum tariff is imposed, it will put the price at the optimal price with that of domestic level. So that will be at a higher price, which is P. And what is this? The country can actually be producing and not buy anything from abroad, or buy from abroad, but imposing a sort of tariff that is moving from P star to P. So tariff is expected to actually increase price and equally allow the domestic economy to produce. Next, please. Next. Who is helping me? Okay. Right? So tariff structure of Nigeria. Since 1st of January 2015, Nigerian trade tariff structure have been based on that of ECOWAS, which is a common position under the Customs Union of the West Africa. And the structure, however, has some specific adjustments, which we are going to see very soon. It employs a 5-band system ranging from 0 to 35. But even before then, in 2015, in 2013, the Nigerian National Automotive Development Plan actually was established that actually put a 35% levy on imported vehicles apart from the standard tariff. So you can see that Nigeria was operating a 70% tariff even on the basis of the National Automotive Industry Development Automotive Industry Development Plan, even before the putting in place of CET. So next one. Next. Well, here is the breakdown of that tariff structure I'm talking about. It's 0% on capital goods and essential ones, 5% on raw materials, 10% on the goods and input. Finished goods is that one, 35% for goods that are meant for economic development so that the company producing such substitutes in Nigeria can thrive. Next, please. Next, please. Now, there are equally some supplementary duties which is allowed by ECOWAS Commission for Nigeria to put, as well as other countries, particularly with respect to agriculture, mining, and other things that will affect our industrial growth. So specific items include that of alcohol and tobacco, that is 75% to 95%, even as at now that we are talking directly, and that of automotive industry, I've already told you about. Next one. My time is short, so please move with my mouth. I will appreciate that you move with my mouth. So additional information is that of the custom duties is the government institution that is allowed to calculate the import price of the tariff, basing it on the imported price, insurance, and freight, which is CIF. Nigeria Customs also provide online access of CET tariff sections, chapters, and such tools for anyone that is wanted to access it. The Trade and Tariff Division of the Customs It's just responsible for revenue projection, policy implementation, as well as ensuring compliance with import and export laws of Nigeria. Next one. So, but recent development happened, particularly in April this year. United States of America imposed a 14% reciprocal tariff on Nigerian exports in April, just about 2 months ago, when Nigeria was targeting, that is targeting countries where US was having trade deficit, and Nigeria is one of those countries having surpluses with US. So US wanted to say, these countries that are not buying as much as we are buying from them, we are going to impose tariff for them. And therefore, it's a reciprocal tariff of 14% was put on Nigeria. This action was taken because US was responding to Nigeria's import ban of 25% product category with Nigerian goods. And then the 14% was therefore implemented as part of the broader trade measures aimed at addressing US trade deficit, particularly on countries where the country was having deficit. And Nigeria, US was having deficit, we are having surplus with them. Next one. So, and what are the implications of this? You see, Nigeria import bans on US products, and therefore impact on US trade level, and then it has some strategic implication, which actually call for Nigeria to actually go into a sort of negotiation to avoid further retaliation. Next, please. So, please move along. Let us look at national competitiveness and tariff. National competitiveness, as you already know, and many people are talking about, is so important. It can be that of a company, but when you are talking with respect to that of a country, it shows the ability of the country to be able to compete well with its export product within the competitive market. And tariff structure is one of the things that have to be considered. The assignment given to me is to look at that of tariff. Next one, please. Next. Next one. Okay, so when we are looking at this competitive of Nigerian economy, right now, it has to be looking to how competitive are we at the WTO level, how competitive are we at African continental trade level, and how competitive are we at ECOWAS level. These are the three perspectives to which we have to weigh our competitiveness, and we weigh it in terms of our trade volumes, our level of diversification, our value addition, as well as stability of our trade. Next one, please. Tariff and trade competitiveness. What are some of the benefits of tariffs? Well, you already know, and I said it earlier, protecting domestic industry, generating revenue, and then products, promoting diversification of an economy. You'll be able to read that one later. Then what about some of the detriment? High cost to consumer, because when you impose higher tariff level, the product coming to the country will be expensive, and then depending upon the elasticity of demand for that product, people will have to be buying at higher price. It reduces national competitiveness because of the fact that the products will be coming to your country at a higher price, and then if there are things that you want to use as intermediate product for further production, then your production in the country will be high. It can equally lead to retaliatory measures in terms of trade wars. And then when there is no alternative in the other market, then it can distort the trade flows, not only in that economy, but globally. It can equally reduce efficiency because you are protecting a company that is not efficient, therefore they can use that inefficiency to be producing and supplying the domestic economy. There's some complexity in impact on tariffs. What are these? It depends on the magnitude of tariff. Is it high or is it low? It can affect different types of goods. It can be responsive for exchange rate. It has availability of alternatives to suppliers and ability of domestic business to adapt. These are some of the complexities that will be taken into look when you are looking at the competing with respect to tariff. Number 4, impact of tariff on imposing economy. When an economy is imposing tariff, it has some implication. Imported spare parts may be expensive. Goods in the country may be expensive. It can even pass higher costs to the production of consumers. And what about on the other country they are imposing it upon? Next, please. Next. On the economy that they are imposing upon us, on the exporting economy, it will face a lower export demand. It will lower its sale. Now, the ability to get this one done depends on the elasticity of the product. If it's a product that the country that is imposing actually need, but the increasing something may not actually reduce what is being exported. It will only lead to importation of high price. Next one. Next, please. No. Next one. What about the impact of the global economy? On the global economy, tariff and tariff trap, they can be actually reduce global trade. And it has actually been projected that we are going to witness reduction in global trade as from the second half of this year until 2026 as a result of all this retaliation of tariffs. Next one. And then what are other things affecting the global economy? Yes, they're going to create a lot of tensions, and quite a lot of comments are going on, and different countries are doing a lot to be able to see how they can protect themselves. So the next one, please move fast. So this high cost shifting creates incentive for large economies to unilaterally impose tariff. This subject of ultimate tariff argument overlooked that there can be retaliation, and therefore this can actually be very, very, can lead to trade war as is happening between US and China. And this kind of trade war is what we did not want in economic theory, particularly in trade theory. So we are going back, sending the global economy back to the 16th and 17th century. Next one, please. Next. Right, you jump to, yes, okay. But let me say this one, that the tariff does not only affect import, it affects export. And just as I explained earlier, if you impose tariff on some products that are intermediate, you are going to use them in the production activity. By the time you are using these products in your economy, obviously, your output will have to increase in price. And if it's increasing in price, that can equally affect you. So it can equally affect your export, because your export product that you are using the intermediate product for, we have to increase in price as well. So it doesn't only affect the import, it equally affects the export. Go ahead. Please move fast. So move ahead. Next one. Okay. All right, no problem. Go to the next one, please. Next. All right. What are the strategies to navigate? Well, with this kind of escalating of tariff within the global economy, there is need for countries to be able to actually put on strategies that will allow a country to mainstream itself, not to be hurt by all this tariff escalation, because you may not know when it's going to end. And luckily enough, we have ECOWAS economic integration, of which we can trade among ourselves. We are having African Continental Free Trade Area, which we can actually trade under the free trade area of African Continental Free Trade Area without import duty. At least 90% of the tariffs has actually been removed. So if the global economy is not good enough, we are having options. Greater options can be sought. Let us look at the various strategies that have to be put in place. I'll just be reading them and then you move on. Next one. No, the first thing is acknowledge that uncertainty it can happen at any time and will continue to happen. Therefore, embrace what is unknown, even at the time you did not know it. Know that things can come and it can affect your economy negatively. Validate your national feelings that, well, this is how the thing is, but what do we do? And national feelings are validated when stakeholders are actually consulted. Practice national mindedness. What do we have in the country that we need to be able to actually put in mind that is related to our trade policy and our national development plan? Next one. Next. Focus on what you can do. There are certain things you can do. Don't engage in what you cannot do. Our various MDAs must be able to make sure that they actually concentrate on areas where they have competitive advantage. Don't go into new things right now, because new things can be rather delicate because of cost implication. Set realistic goals, prioritize the national strategies. You can readjust the various aspects of the development plan to make sure they support what you want. Number 3, support and get connection. Form coalition with others and join support group across the world. They seek professional and technical assistance to be able to actually do some of the things that you want the economy to do. Then embrace digital transformation. And under this one, e-commerce is very important. And African coordinator have recognized this one. Digital marketing is good. Also, data analytics is equally very important. All this one is under, yes. Then also, strategic partnership. Ensure that your country actually go into partnership, joint ventures, in the situation in which something you are importing before, but you have the raw material to produce. Why don't you go into joint venture so that those companies can go and be producing it in the country under an import substitution arrangement? Strategic alliance as well. So as much as industrial association, like we have Nasima in Nigeria, we have also Fewasi in West Africa. Then product diversification. This is the time you have to be thinking about diversifying your attention in terms of product, in terms of market. Because of market, you may not be able to enter them freely without additional costs. Supply chain diversification. Where you are buying from, can you look at other places where you can get your input? Or can you look at other places where you can sell to that will not have all these tariff retaliation? The investment diversification. Don't ever think that what you are doing, that's the best you can do. You can actually go into other areas. Local sourcing. This is a time to be able to look inward, particularly the import substitution strategy. Why not? This is what is leading America to do what it's actually doing. Import substitution to make sure that they can equally develop the domestic economy. Then number 8, sequencing. Please stay on this one for some time. Sequence your negotiation strategy. Look, this is an area in which in my inaugural lecture of 2019, this is a very big topic, in which I wrote my inaugural lecture is titled Sequencing and Negotiating Nigerian Trade Arrangements under the regional economic integration as well as multilateral level. That is to say, if we have not been sequencing them before, this is the time to sequence them. Already we have a trade policy, which was launched in 2023. We don't have an ECOWAS common policy yet, but we are working on it in the ECOWAS Commission. Therefore, our trade policy should well be situated inside the ECOWAS trade policy. And we have to allow that sequence. It is the sequence of what we have in ECOWAS common trade policy that must be available inside AFTA. And that is why the entire ECOWAS use their economic union position to be able to enter the African Union, African Continental Free Trade Area. Then it is afterward that we can now negotiate with European Union. And what we negotiate with European Union under the EPA is what we can actually make sure that is equally under the WTO. A sort of a sequence from national trade policy to regional trade policy to continental trade policy to that of EU and finally to WTO is very important. Next, I'm making the next, yes. Next discussion, please. So the order your trade with respect to negotiation, there are certain things which are solely your own, only domestic when you are negotiating. Don't let anybody actually touch it. The ones that are largely domestic as well, that's where you have equally priority. There are some external negotiated in which you have to actually join other countries to maintain your position that will be of interest to Nigeria. And also, externally non-negotiated. Those are things that let's say EU will not allow you to touch when you are negotiating. So only domestic, largely domestic, externally negotiated, and as well as the ones you cannot touch. So finally, before I conclude, the ambition of this particular presentation is to develop what I can call sustainable trade competitiveness for Nigerian economy. And what does this one mean? It means trade competitiveness that we actually follow the sustainability principles. Next one. Next, please. No, you went back, right? And what are the principles? It must actually be environmentally correct, socially okay, and economically okay as well. These are the 3 conditions for sustainability. Go ahead. Next one. Next slide, please. Then under the economic, it must be bearable, it must be equitable, it must be viable. Under social, it must be bearable, it must be equitable and viable. And then under environment, it must be bearable, it must be equitable, and must be viable. Then go to the next one. And what I've been talking about is just that particular program. When we are talking of sustainable trade competitiveness, we are talking of the fact that in negotiation, in trade policy, in every other thing we are doing, it must, under social, it must be bearable, it must be sustainable and equitable. Under economic consideration, it must be equitable, it must be sustainable and bearable and viable. Then under environment, it must be bearable, sustainable, and viable and equitable as well. So that area of sustainability for all the three is the kind of sustainable trade competitiveness that we must be working upon. That is, when you are considering social, economic, and environment, it must take note. A sustainable trade competitiveness will actually touch all those areas. That is the kind of policy that we should recommend for Nigeria for trade competitiveness. Go ahead. In other words, next one. In other words, sustainable trade competition for Nigerian economy under the current uncertain world, we integrate sustainability into our trade policy, into our negotiation, into the innovation and technological advancement, into promoting collaboration and partnership. Next one. Then it will equally ensure that it equally go down even to company level, to regional level, and the continental level. In conclusion, please. No, you jump in. Lack of trade competitiveness and lack of uncertainty in Nigeria present a significant challenge, and you all know that. There's global volatility, the weak oil prices, because that's the dominance of Nigerian economy. The infrastructure is not good enough. Despite the fact that, I mean, look at light situation. God in his wisdom said, let there be light before he can produce anything. But right now, I'm operating under generator where I am now. Are we wiser than God? There's not enough light, and we say we should produce. I mean, so there must be infrastructure to allow production. Weak private sector, unpredictable business environment that is overlapping and changing unstable policies, then corruption and bureaucracy, then trade and protectionism that is happening now. So by understanding all these things and making sure that we get ourselves protected under the various suggestions made in this presentation, Nigeria can actually operate a competitively sustainable trade environment that will actually justify the future. It's a kind of a future in which whatever we are doing now will not jeopardize the future of the children yet unborn. Next one. So by implementing the completion of these above strategies, both the public and private sector of the Nigerian economy can improve the resilience of the economy, but right now and in future years. While the road ahead may be very challenging because of what we are facing in the global space now, the potential reward for adjustment is so important, and we must be ready to do it by adopting. Thank you, I'm cut off. Okay, all right, it's back. Am I back? Go back one step.
Back one step, please.
By adopting practice and strategic approach to managing uncertainty, Nigerian business and the relevant MDAs involved in trade can turn the current challenges into opportunities that can reshape the country's economic future and fortune. So both government and private sector, this is time to be able to collaborate, and then collaborate as well also with World Trade Center so that they can do what they wanted to do for Nigeria to make the country a highly competitive, not only in terms of trade, but in terms of every other economic activity. Thank you for listening.
Incredible, incredible. This room is too quiet. I think we should be having claps and applause for the professor for bringing such insight into this conversation. Please, it's just one hand I'm seeing. There are almost 100 people on this call. Please, let's resound thank you. I see all of you. Thank you so much for that, Professor. Thank you for very profound delivery. And I'll take you on your conclusion, your concluding statement that there is a need for improved collaboration between both the public and the private sector, to join hands together to diversify the economy of Nigeria. And of course, we can then see a country that is taking its place as the giant of Africa and leading in global trade competitiveness. Thank you very much for that, Prof. We appreciate your deep insight. Of course, course, the time is going to come. I see some questions already in the question room, but the time is going to come when I'm going to definitely click on your questions and of course put Professor on the spotlight for you to be able to ask him questions. So stay on the call. We'll be able to take your questions any moment from now. Without wasting time, please permit me to Prof said something very profound, that it is important that we focus on what we can do and focus on what we have as a country that we have ownership of, and that is why NEPC is coming next. NEPC is Nigerian Export Promotion Council. On behalf of the World Trade Center Abuja management, I say thank you, NEPC, for joining us. And she is here herself. Dr. Noya Yeni is here, the Executive Director and CEO of NEPC. She's the Executive Director of Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the lead government agency for promotion and development of non-oil export sector in Nigeria. It was established in 1976. The NEPC is charged with the mandate to promote the development and diversification of Nigerian non-oil export trade, assist in promotion and development of export-oriented administration and non-oil export incentives. Before her appointment to NEPC, she was the pioneer managing director and CEO of Signature Bank Nigeria Limited, a new generation regional bank in Nigeria. As pioneer managing director and CEO, she had direct oversight in setting up various sound operational, technological, and administrative structure for the bank and leading it through formative stage to full operation, a position she held until she took up the appointment as the executive director and CEO of NEPC. And really, her experience has really reflected in the incredible work Mrs. Noye has done in the short time she has been the executive director and CEO of NEPC. Today, she's going to be talking about driving non-oil export competitiveness. If I were you, of course, for some of us that are not in the space, Professor's conversation is like creating like the umbrella. Now we are bringing it closer to your doorstep, to seeing the floor within the non-oil exports in your communities, in your state, and you can begin to leverage some of the programs the NEPC has put in place for you to drive non-oil exports. If your hands are not busy, please put an incredible hand together and put a clap, for our quintessential, exceptional ED CEO, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Mrs. Noye Ayeni. Thank you very much for the next 10 minutes. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Can hear you loud and clear.
My sister.
Okay. Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, esteemed participants, members of the audience, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols duly observed. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm not a doctor. I'm Mrs. Noya Ayeni, the Executive Director and CEO of Nigerian Export Promotion Council. I want to say that I'm honored. I'm truly honored to speak to you today on the topic that is already mentioned, driving non-oil export competitiveness and building a resilient and diversified export base. And I'd like to use the opportunity to commend and congratulate the organizers of this program. It's always a pleasure, especially when we talk about non-oil exports. So thank you very much for inviting me. We all know that trade remains very pivotal for economic growth, resilience, and transformation. Across the world, trade fuels progress, enables countries to interconnect, it opens up market, it drives innovation, and it creates opportunities for prosperity. So through trade, all nations connect with one another, they share knowledge, and they're able to build wealth, generate jobs, and improve the lives of their citizenry. So for Nigeria, expanding our participation in the global trade offers a clear path towards inclusive development and long-term stability. So over the years, as we all know, Nigerian economy has largely depended on oil, which contributes about 90% of our export earnings. yet it accounts for less than 10% of employment. This does not augur well for economic resilience and sustainability. Hence, the need for us to diversify economy away from oil and focus on non-oil export has become very evident. It's also very important because that diversification to non-oil export will speak to the larger populace or population of the country, as it will help us to galvanize the MSMEs, the women. The MSMEs actually contribute, they're about 86% of businesses in Nigeria. So you can see, if you focus on non-oil export, you're touching a whole lot of people in the country. So it speaks to MSMEs. It also speaks to women and youth for inclusiveness in global trade. So it's also known that we all know that Nigeria is blessed enormously with so many resources, both material and human resources. And Nigeria, I always say this, that we have over 1,000 agricultural products and derivatives. So we have a lot. Nigeria is blessed. Then you talk about solid minerals. We have over 44 solid minerals. Then we also have a vibrant service sector. This is one area that, when we talk about non-oil export, a lot of people will speak to, agricultural products. You talk about sesame, cashew, cocoa, and all the rest of them. But we have forgotten that service is a very important segment, or a very important sector for non-oil export. We all know that services contribute to over 50% of our GDP. So that's also another area. But some of them, we also have solid minerals. So grossly, most of these areas are grossly unstructured and not really so tapped. So the non-oil export sector presents an opportunity for the country, Nigeria, for economic growth and development of the country. So speaking about competitiveness and speaking about building a resilient and diversified economic base, there are so many platforms currently we have that presents an opportunity for us to build such resilience in our economy and make sure that we have a sustainable development. One of which is AFCFTA. So AFCFTA is a powerful platform that promises to be one of the biggest or the largest single market. It's connecting about 55 countries and with a population of over 1.3, 1.4 billion people. So this is a great opportunity that I believe that we should leverage on to be able to tap the potentials and the opportunities that we have and make Nigeria a hub in the African continent, especially with inter-regional trade. So, when we're talking about competitiveness in trade, it's not just about products. It speaks to other things like pricing. It speaks to pricing. It speaks to quality. It speaks to so many other things. So it requires a deep understanding of market intelligence. It requires a bit understanding of customer behavior, customer expectation. But most importantly, it requires an ecosystem that is efficient, that is seamless, that encourages business to thrive and makes things easy for our exporters. So NEPC's intervention programs and our various activities have been tailored to be able to help our exporters weather some of these barriers. So speaking to the benefits of competitiveness and building a resilient economy through trade, the benefits, of course, cannot be overemphasized, which includes poverty, because if you speak to MSMEs, you're actually dealing with a lot of Nigerians. 86% of businesses are under this bucket. So it will also help. The benefits are very, very much overwhelming. It will lead to poverty alleviation, job creation, improved standard of living for our populace, which aligns with the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also aligns with the drive and passion of our Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. So building competitiveness and building a resilient economy is very, very important as it helps with sustainability of our economic growth and development. So speaking to the strategies, I'll talk briefly on some strategies and some challenges that we need to look at before I speak to specifically what we've done in Nigerian Export Promotion Council. When we talk about how do we build this resilient export base, we look at how do we develop products from the farm gate to market access. We look at product development and market. Let me speak to product development. We need to look at how do we even diversify what we have. We have the priority products. If you come to NEPC, you have the priority products, the cocoa, the cashew, the sesame, and the rest of them. Well, how do we diversify the number? How do we even develop this product to the extent that they are competitive in the market? How do we develop those products, those agricultural products, to ensure that we meet with the standards, the quality and standards, to avoid or to curb reject, and also to reduce contract cancellation? So a lot has to be done in that regard. I will also speak to some of the things that Nigerian Export Promotion Council has been doing, and I also want participants and exporters and the players in the value chain to also take advantage of that. When we are talking about strategies, we need to also look at value addition. Value addition is very critical. We can't just continue to export raw. You export sesame, you earn 1/10 of the price. You export hibiscus raw, you earn maybe 1/5 of the price. So there's need for us to begin to think of value addition. That's the only way that we can earn premium pricing in the global market. So that is very, very key. And I know that in terms of volume of value-added products exported into the country is increasing from our records that we are getting. You can see a lot of people are adding value to their sesame. You have sesame oil, you have sesame cakes. There are a lot of it. Cocoa, you see some people making chocolate. You need to see some of the things some of Nigerians are doing, and you'll be so, so proud. So building strategies also involves strengthening trade facilitation mechanism, streamlining customs, reducing documentation, and also digitalizing our procedures. I'm sure we all are conversant about the single window. That will also help to make things seamless and make things more efficient. So there's need for us to partnership amongst agencies, collaboration with NEPC and other even development companies, development institutions. We need to work together, collaborate to ensure that we build that resilient export base. We also need to leverage on regional and global opportunities, improve visibility through strategic trade fairs, bilateral partnership. All of those are necessary for us to build this. And then let's not forget the role of innovation and digital trade. It is very critical. They always say that digital trade is transformative. E-commerce, and I think at this point I need to introduce what we call the women exporters in digital economy, the White Fund. We advertised this some time ago. It was a program that was launched in Abu Dhabi by Her Excellency, the DG of WTO, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. And incidentally, Nigerian Export Promotion Council is the only institution in Africa that got selected as a PSO. We've advertised, and this will help our women to scale up. It will also provide finance in terms of grant. Some will be trained for almost 1 year, training them on the rudiments of export, on the rudiments of e-commerce. And when we put out the advert, it was surprising that we got over 68,000 women, and we're so proud of our women. They've shown themselves strong, and we are engaging WTO and ITC, and very soon they'll begin to have the impact, have the grant and the training once WTO and ITC finish the final selection. So there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done to be able to build resilience in the economy. So let me speak to some of the few things. Coming down to Nigeria Export Promotion Council, I think over the years, we have done a lot. The agency has been responsible for development and promoting non-oil export. We have taken significant strides over the years. And of course, we know our vision is to make the world a marketplace for Nigerian products. The council has worked diligently, working with various stakeholders, working with various agencies to expand the market, to build the capacity of our exporters and the players in the value chain. We've done a lot from the farm gate, teaching them the rudiments getting them export ready, training them on good agricultural practices. We have a packaging expert in the council, teaching them on packaging and labeling, all of those put together to ensure that they're able to play competitively in the global market. And all of these activities, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, working with the various stakeholders, working with our various exporters, we are happy to say, that last year on year 2024, we grew by 20.7 in terms of value of non-oil export, grew by 20.7 year on year to $5.4 billion. And that upward trajectory also continued. The first quarter of 2025, we also grew by 24.7%. And we're not just growing in value, we're also growing in volume. But again, this is a far cry from where we should be. Because if you put it together with informal trade, we all know there are a lot of Nigerian products going across all the borders. From the north, where you have Kemi, in Kebbi, you have Samia, you have Kamba. In the south, you have Oron. Sorry, in the south, you have Oron. In the west, you have Shaki and other areas. And that is why Nigerian Export Promotion Council, in partnership with Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, where, as we speak, we are in these corners, in these corridors, trying to see how we can document this trade. And what two things are important to us? One is to take data, the data of what is going out, so that we can be able to capture actually at least a reasonable percentage of what is going out of the country as non-oil exports. And then we begin to find ways of streamlining this non-oil export, so that we make it easy for these MSMEs to be able to export freely and seamlessly. So those are the two things that are important to us, to mainstream informal trade. In terms of, in that area, we're also working with Central Bank of Nigeria, who has magnanimously included CEFA. After we made an advocacy to them and we wrote and had a meeting with them, they magnanimously included CEFA as one of the currencies that we can receive export proceeds. So these are some of the things that we're doing. We also have, I've spoken about I've spoken about informal trade, what we're doing in informal trade. I'm talking about due. We have done the pilot run on due, the domestic export warehouse, which we've done the pilot run. We are also saying, can we make, what we're trying to say in this due is to make a one-stop shop where exporters can bring their commodities and everything. You have the customs, you have the PIA, you have NAFDAC and any other laboratory and NAQS, all in one stop, making sure that everything is done in one spot. And that will also help to reduce costs for our exporters. We are working with customs, NAQS, and PIAs in this regard. We've done the pilot run. These are some of the things that we are planning to conclude. And by the time we conclude, we'll begin to see, we've already started seeing those impact for some of our exporters. Then another thing that is also very critical, we believe, that will help to fully galvanize, or to a very large extent, build this competitiveness and get more people into the value chain, is clusters. We're already working on the ground to work with various farmers and exporters to build clusters. So exporting in silos is good, but it's not the whole story. So we are building clusters. We've already started with the pilot run, where we'll soon complete that, where we get a lot of farmers, a lot of exporters in one, form a cluster or aggregate them so we can export. And then in that particular cluster, we will train them, we'll build their capacity, do certification, and then do all the laboratory testing, so that whatever goes from that cluster goes to the market without any reject. Then again, we've embarked on certification. I'm also using this opportunity to open it up. We started last year that we want to do certification free of charge for 400 exporters. We've done 105 first, and the second part of 105, what is 200 and something, 210, we are concluding. So it is free, but we are actually looking for people that have done a lot that want to export, so that we're able to improve on their quality and standard. We've also have mentorship program. The mentorship program is also something that we need to look at. Everyone should, all the exporters should take advantage of that. So there are quite a number of programs. So I will encourage you to go to our website as I round up, because I know time is not on my side. So as I round up, I will encourage everyone to follow us on our social media. I also ask everyone to go to our website, partake of our NEPC Connect programs, which we do every 2 months. We use that as an opportunity to bridge the gap and teach everyone on what they need to do and encourage us. So finally, while a call to action is for us to be able to record significant progress, there's need for us to strengthen the non-oil sector. There's need for collaboration, there's need for partnership. No single agency, no single institution can do that. We need to work together, customs, NEPC, all the relevant agencies, to ensure that we make Nigeria proud and we increase the volume and value of non-oil export in the country. Thank you very much, and thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Incredible, incredible. I think your hands should be busy in the chat room already. Thank you, Mrs. Noye, for such an explicit presentation of the incredible work you're doing and your agency is doing at promoting non-oil export. Thank you, the certification program, the mentorship, and of course, building clusters and taking this to the people that really, really, really need it, are practitioners of the non-oil export. Please, it sounds a resounding applause for in your digital hands, rather, for Mrs. Noye. Of course, again, in due course, you're going to have the opportunity. I see a lot of questions already. Please, if you don't mind, man, the next few minutes, I'll be able to put you spot on, and people can interact with you and ask you questions based on what you're doing. And of course, it would be nice, looking at the work we're doing at World Trade Center, it would be awesome to have you, be present for the launch of our Exports Launchpad at World Trade Center here in Abuja, and of course, our WTC Abuja Trade Desk. We have also made ourselves available for viable market linkages, leveraging our 333 network across the world, 333 World Trade Centers across 124 countries across the world. And we see the incredible work you're doing, and we see what is possible with you and with your organization. Thank you very much again, madam, and it's such a great pleasure to have you on the call. Without wasting time, because we want to keep this as fast, as short as possible, I'd like to welcome the Chief Operating Officer, the COO of AfriLabs. AfriLabs has been our partner for about 2 years, and the continent of Africa in facilitating digital trade is incredible. And of course, in the course of the presentation, they're going to tell you what work they have done, and I will also spotlight some of the work they have done. The Chief Executive Officer, the Chief Operating Officers, rather, the CEO of AfriLab, Mr. Ajibola Odukoya, is an experienced professional with over 15 years of global expertise in technology, business consulting, and advisory. He's passionate about supporting the growth of digital economy across Africa by investing in infrastructure for indigenous technology, innovation, research, and value creation. Ajibola's remarkable journey in Africa includes pivotal role like the head of business management and project management office for multiple national programs, such as the revenue assurance for the Nigerian Communications Commission, data recapture exercise for the Nigerian Pension Commission, and Pension Funds Operators Association of Nigeria. He was also appointed head of technology and head of strategic alliances for national e-government strategy in 2017, where he contributed in the blueprint for the rollout of the Nigerian National Identity Number, NIN, registration and verification nationally and globally, highlighting a significant contribution to technology and digital public infrastructure sector in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about digital trade, leveraging digital trade. All of us are actually, now online. We're everywhere. We are on social media. We are doing e-commerce. We are doing drop shipping. To talk about the incredible work they have done so far and what they are doing and how it relates to Nigerian trade competitiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a resounding applause to me, Ajibola Odukoya. Thank you. Keep it resounding. The COO of AfriLabs. Thank you. You have the floor for the next 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Good afternoon, everyone. Standing on existing protocols, I'll go straight into the topic. unlocking Nigeria's trade future through digital innovation and tech-driven trade. AfriLab connects over 500 innovation hubs across 53 countries, driving Africa's startup ecosystem forward. We equipped entrepreneurs with skills, funding, and the network needed to grow while partnering globally to transform bold ideas into scalable solutions. Through advocacy, collaboration, investment access, AfriLabs is powering Africa's next wave of tech innovation. So our areas of trade innovation include fostering digital inclusion and digital trade, facilitating funding and market entry for startups and MSMEs, and also policy advocacy. Okay. So I'm going to talk about AfriLabs, the network. We are the largest Pan-African network of innovation and technology hubs. We're strategically positioned to catalyze digital inclusion and trade across Africa. And our expansive ecosystem comprises of over 500 hubs. These are physical locations in 225 cities across 53 countries, serving as a crucial entry point for startups and MSMEs into the digital economy. We provide access to digital trade through our hubs by providing vital shared infrastructure, technology support, business services, and significantly lowering the barriers for entry into digital markets. This environment enables entrepreneurs to ideate, build, and scale competitive digital products and services. We also unlock continental trade expansion. By our unparalleled presence, AfriLabs Network acts as a soft landing platform for trade organizations, government, and private sector actors in Africa. So through our network, you're able to deploy local pilot programs effectively in Nigeria or across 53 countries. Also, we support markets expansion initiatives at the grassroots level, also engaging with innovation ecosystems at scale across diverse regions, and also localized products and services through high impact community engagement. So this is the geographical statistics of our current hub in Nigeria. These are all physical locations, 108 of them, 21 in Abuja and 33 in Lagos. So going into our programs and services, we've invested heavily into capacity building and connecting tech talent across Africa. One of our flagship programs is the AfriLabs Capacity Building Program, which is a key result, which led to the AfriLabs Academy. The capacity building program was a €2 million investment into Africa, ensuring that our hubs and our young people are able to prepare for the future and also the present. So the Academy is a Pan-African e-learning platform that provides upskilling opportunities for hub managers, entrepreneurs, and innovation actors. It offers curated courses in and innovation management, ensuring African innovation workforce is globally competitive. This academy is completely free of charge and it's open globally. So every African or every Nigerian can take a course and it would give you a university recognized certificate at the end of it. We also built a platform similar to LinkedIn, but first for Africa. It's called AfriLabs Connect. So this dynamic platform is designed for trading skills, services, and opportunities among network members and external partners. AfriLabs Connect strengthens local and cross-border collaborations, facilitating business outsourcing, digital work, and talent exchange among African businesses. And finally, on this page, we have business process outsourcing services, which will leverage our extensive network of physical locations. AfriLab acts as a hub and spoke system for decentralized BPO. So in other words, our co-working spaces are now work centers where remote workers can work from while they work with international partners. So this enables local businesses and global clients to access a distributed workforce of tech-enabled professionals offering services in customer support, digital marketing, software development, and more. So particularly also representing the underrepresented cities in Africa as well. So the story here is we build the capacity of young Africans and Nigerians. We offer them employment, and because they're working from an innovation hub, they're poised to innovate locally and solve local problems. The issue is when you migrate out of Africa and you go work for European or American companies, it's quite difficult to relate back to your local environment. So we're keeping Africans in Africa, but still exposing them to international work and best practices so they can innovate locally. So another focus area is funding and market access. So AfriLabs has a trade gateway role. So we serve as a strategic gateway for African startups and SMEs, connecting them to vital funding, knowledge, and international markets through a multi-layered approach. So the first is investment readiness and matchmaking. We have a deal room, which is spinning out of the AfriLabs Connect platform, which is dedicated in facilitating structured and investment-ready deal flow between African innovators, both local and with both local and international investors. So we create vetted startups, streamline the due diligence process, we reduce investment risk, and then we support these businesses scale across Africa or scale internationally. So this business model is very investor friendly and also MSME friendly as well. So we do realize that in this funding stage, other services that other SMEs can offer also helps them, achieve their goal of fundraising. So we bring in not just the investor and the startup, but we also engage local businesses in that process. Another fund of ours is Catalytic Africa. This is to strengthen AfriLab's role as a fund enabler by providing matching grants to startups co-invested by local angels and innovation networks. So for example, we partnered with the Africa Business Angel Network, of which Nigeria also has an angel network. If an angel invests about 10,000 euros into a startup, we would match it with a matching grant, doubling that investment. So we will put in 20,000 as a grant. And if they invest up to 20,000 euros, we will triple it as a grant to the startup. So the idea here is to ensure that Africans are investing in African businesses so we can all pull ourselves together to grow. Once an African angel invests in an African business, it offers a de-risked view for international players to come in to also invest in that business as well, because we are the people who are in the market, and if we are supporting our own, then globally, it shows that the business is good to go. We also partner with Global Partnerships for Trade and Expansion. AfriLabs collaborates with leading international partners to unlock cross-border trade and funding opportunities. We actually brought Intel into Africa about 3 years ago. We started with a mapping where we mapped out all the deep tech startups across the continent, where we about 250 deep tech startups on the continent and about 30 of them in Nigeria. So going forward from the research, we've built an Intel community reach program. We're now at the second cohort where Intel and AfriLabs is partnering to drive digital inclusion across 18 African countries by equipping over 60 innovation hubs with resources to boost entrepreneurial skills, digital readiness, also ensuring that MSMEs and startups are trade and investment ready. We've also partnered with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and other partners through ecosystem development programs and research. AfriLabs is supporting MSMEs in health, agriculture, and fintech sectors to scale technology across critical markets across the world and in Africa. We also embark in trade missions and market expansion support, leveraging on strategic MOUs and diplomatic channels. AfriLabs is actively supporting Nigerian SMEs and African startups to enter high-value markets such as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Korea, UAE, Europe, and other global markets, also neighboring African countries as well. These engagements include trade missions, bilateral forums, go-to-market strategies focused on sectors like healthcare, green tech, fintech, and digital services. As part of our inclusion program, we have a Rev Up Women program, which empowers women-led businesses with the tools to compete in local and global markets, providing access to capacity building, funding, and market entry support. The program strengthens their ability to participate in digital trade and export-ready value chains. This program is run in association with the Visa Foundation, and over the last 2 years, we've disbursed over $1 million to support women. By the way, the deal room is valued at $2.2 billion across Africa to ensure that any startup who is looking to grow and scale across the continent, we have investors are available to help them with that expansion. And then finally, our work with policy advocacy. We're shaping an enabling environment for Africans and ensuring that AfriLab plays a crucial role in shaping policies that enable digital trade innovation to foster a more conducive environment for African entrepreneurs. So our work with policy advocacy, we released a document about 3 years ago, which is aimed to support African governments to ensure that as they're producing policies, they're putting in mind the 10 policy pathways, which enable startups to be trade ready and also create the digital infrastructure and the payment infrastructure to allow them align with the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Our goal here is to position Nigeria and Africa as global hubs for digital services and innovation-led trade. For the Startup Act, we're pivotal in the co-creation of the Nigerian Startup Act, and we've gone ahead to also support 8 other startup acts across the continent. These frameworks provide crucial incentives, regulatory clarity, and public-private collaboration in the country. It's good to note that in the Nigerian Startup Act, as a corporate, if you invest in a startup or support a startup, you're actually eligible to some tax breaks, and a lot of businesses don't know that. So helping on the promotion of the Startup Acts and ensuring that it's being used and implemented on the country. And then the Continental Free Trade Agreement and digital readiness, we contribute to the implementation and the awareness of the AFCTFA, ensuring that digital economies are ready for intra-African trade through capacity building, data governance and literacy, digital infrastructure to support MSMEs. We've also deployed 2 tech fellows to the Secretariat in Ghana through our AU Tech Fellowship, where we deploy young technology experts into critical government agencies across Africa to digitize them from within and offer new and fresh solutions. So in conclusion, AfriLabs is more than just a network. It's a continent-wide enabler of digital transformation and also inclusive innovation and trade facilitation. With our platforms, partnerships, and our people-first approach, AfriLabs continues to unlock the power of African entrepreneurs to thrive in a digital trade and digital age to compete in global markets. So the call to action is we're open to partnerships, we're open to help any businesses who are willing to scale across Africa. We are the largest network, second to the African Union. We have the most reach on the continent. So we're here as a non-profit organization to help as much as we can to promote Africa internationally. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, AfriLab, for the incredible work you're doing, as I've highly highlighted and mentioned. We have just maybe 1 or 2 more presentations. Please, there is an applause for AfriLab for the work they're doing. Post-event, that's why it is important that you stay until the end so that we can share with you how you can connect with, some of the opportunities that are available, to you to explore by the virtue of being on this webinar and on this call. It's not a talk show. It's a call to action. We are here to see how we can leverage our partnership with AfriLab and everyone on this call to see how to facilitate your business growth and expansion, as well as attracting investment where you are qualified to, right? So thank you very much again, Ajibala, for that remarkable presentation. At this time, I'd like to, before I joined the World Trade Center, I played an important role in the organized private sector as Director General. So it's always a pleasure to be home every time I am with NACIMA, the National Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. The incredible work they're doing facilitating, non-oil export and providing platform, for businesses, even at their small scale business at local level, to expand and to grow and to scale effortlessly. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to welcome one of our important partners. Of course, ably represented. Otumba Dele Kevin Oye is the president of NASIMA. However, he's being represented here today by the director of the Abuja office, Mr. Mohammed, the head of NASIMA Abuja Liaison Office. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mohammed, thank you very much. For the next 10 minutes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, David. Good afternoon, all. I hope I'm audible. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. Well, being in the midst of high-ranking profiles, I mean, we have professors here, CEOs, and doctors. It's a privilege to be here. Good afternoon once again, and allow me to stand, or rather, shall I say sit, on already existing protocols, please. Yes, the outline of our presentation here, I will quickly skip that so that we don't take too much of our time and go through the slides as we go. The next page, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, in introduction, in 2024, we go through the slide, we see that Nigeria exported goods worth 39.2 trillion, of which crude oil made up about 76% of exports. Non-oil exports, such as sesame, cocoa, cashew, minerals, were still just below 10%, signifying our over-dependence on oil. Now, main exports, or our main export buyers included India, Spain, the Netherlands, and Indonesia. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Yeah, here, why the private sector matters. Well, we can see the private sector drives 90% of Nigeria's economy and gives up to 80% of jobs. Of course, the private sector can help Nigeria move away from oil dependence. It can add value to products and improve quality, can earn more foreign currency and adopt better technology and global standards. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now, what the role of the private sector in export competitiveness? The private sector brings innovation and helps meet global standards. It builds factories, supply chains, and marketing networks. It employs people and trains them in export-ready skills. Now, through trade associations, export consortia, and cross-border collaborations, the private sector expands markets across and strengthens Nigeria's presence in the global value chain. Next, please. Now, a quick snapshot of Nigeria's exports as at 2024. In quarter three, we did about 20.5 trillion in exports, of which 65% is from crude oil and 35% from non-crude. We had our top buyers, Spain, US, France, India, and the Netherlands again. Yes, next slide, please. Now, what are the problems, or should we say the bottlenecks, key domestic bottlenecks of export competitiveness? Infrastructure deficits, transport, poor power supply, logistics, all this needs to be improved upon. We have regulatory hurdles, bureaucracies, custom delays, access to finance, very limited credit for export-oriented firms. We have weak institutional supports, coordinating gaps, low technological adoption and innovation. We have skills gaps and inconsistent policy environments. Now, this policy flip-flops, of course, keeps changing, and it really shies away investors into our economy. Yes, next slide. Yeah. Now, the impact of these bottlenecks is reduced cost competitiveness. Exporters face production and logistics costs that are up to 3 times higher than regional peers. This makes Nigerian goods less price competitive in the global markets. We have limited skills and diversifications. Now, due to unreliable electricity and poor transport networks, only 15% of Nigerian medium and small-scale enterprises engage in scalable export-oriented manufacturing, while most remain stuck in low-value raw material exports. It's not good enough at all. We have increased time to market and compliance costs. Imagine a situation where goods have to stay at the port for up to 30 days. This leads to a lot of spoilages and losses. Now, we have diminished investor confidence as well. With all these policy flip-flops, as we mentioned earlier, we have very little or low interest in Nigerian exports. Yes, next slide, you can go ahead. Now, what needs to be done? We can digitize export processes with platforms such as the National Single Window. Of course, we can leverage public-private partnerships to fix infrastructure. We can improve on financing, for example, the Exim Bank and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement Adjustment Fund. We can offer incentives for processed exports, not just the raw materials. We can also train these medium and small-scale enterprises in trade logistics, certifications, and e-commerce. Next slide, please. Yes, so private sector solutions are already on ground, already working. We have logistic techs such as the Kobo 360, the Trade Depot. These have been proved to improve delivery by 40%. We have free trade zones such as the Lekki and Calabar, which are helping to grow non-oil exports. And of course, we have public-private talks, which are leading to better export policies. For example, the EEG reforms. We have digital tools such as the Export Gateway and the Paystack Exporters Hub. All these connect our small and medium-scale industries to global markets. These are just to mention but a few. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, more actions are needed. We need to build stronger government business partnerships. We need to focus on non-oil sectors in high demand globally. We also need to invest in logistics, packaging, and quality control. Next slide, please. So what do we recommend? We recommend foster stronger public-private collaboration, as mentioned earlier. We focus on non-oil exports with high global demands, while also expand our export incentives for medium and small-scale enterprises. We can invest more in logistics, packaging, and certification infrastructure. We monitor and evaluate trade policy effectiveness. Yes, the conclusion, please. So in conclusion, the private sector is vital for Nigerian export success. To grow, Nigeria must fix domestic issues slowing exports. Governments, businesses, and partners need to work together. It's time to shift from having potential to actually delivering results. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much. Please, can you help me give a resounding applause to Nasima for that, presentation. We are most grateful to you. Thank you very much, Nasima.
Thank you.
However, a poll is going to come on any moment from now. So please take the next 1 minute to take a poll, okay? And of course, make sure that you feel appropriately, okay? We're going to be reaching out to you. Like I said earlier, this is not a talk show, it's a call to action. And we are committed to making sure that whatever it is that we discuss here today is being implemented as much as possible. And my job as the head of trade services at World Trade Center is to, yes, if you look at your screen now, it has popped up. Just, quickly take a poll on the digital trade and innovation, what your experience is, what you want to do, and and which of the initiative of the AfriLab appeals to you the most, so that, this point helps us to connect you, to AfriLabs, and of course help you to connect you to further opportunities. Which is what we do at the World Trade Center. Before I proceed to the final presenter for today, before we go into the interactive session and begin to round off this call, I would like to make a special mention of Dr. Oloriboye Ajayi. Thank you for being on this call. I recognize the incredible work you're doing within the trade space. We do not take that for granted, and we celebrate the incredible work you do, Oloriboye Ajayi. You can hear me. All right, please quickly take the poll. And whilst you're taking the poll, I'd like to give a special, I would like to introduce the next and the final presenter for this call before we get into the interactive session. And we can tell you how, to break into the market. And later as well, immediately after this, I'll be inviting my vice president who is going to be launching our two of our initiatives, the Export Launchpad, and of course the Trade Desk. One of the things we want to do is to make sure that you have a one-stop shop where you can get information required for export, as far as market is concerned, as far as market insight is concerned, as investment is concerned, as far as sourcing is concerned, as much as financing is concerned. That's what we want to do with two of these initiatives that we are launching today. So please stay on the call and don't miss out on the opportunity to take action after now, because we want to be responsible. I want to be responsible to you, and of course make ourselves available for you to expand your business to international market, and of course to plug into some of the opportunities that are available to facilitate your business growth, regardless of what you're doing individually. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'd like to celebrate this incredible woman who is going to be presenting now. That's Mrs. Blessing Irabo Oza. I've known her for years, and we've worked together. The incredible work she's doing with ensuring women inclusion in international trade. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to welcome to the call a renowned serial entrepreneur and influential business leader who currently serves as the Vice President of Programs for the Organization of Women in International Trade at the international level, and she serves currently as the President of President of OWIT, that's Organization of Women in International Trade in Nigeria. She's a global trade leader, an investment facilitator, and the incredible work she's doing with women across the continent. We celebrate you. Over the next 10 minutes, she'll be presenting to you on what they are doing to facilitate inclusion. Women, please, I think you should listen now. Thank you very much. Mrs. Irabo, over to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kwemi. It's my honor to be in this call. Without wasting time, I want to acknowledge the presence of the minister, although is not here, and also my mentor, Professor Aremu, and the DG of the Export Promotion Council. I just want to acknowledge them and the other panelists. It's good to be on this call with you. So quickly, I think without wasting much of your time, standing on the existing protocol, I have to skip the protocol call. Thank you so much. Like I said, we are gathered here today. It's not just to talk about trade, but it's to talk about Nigerian future, a future that is being reshaped by unprecedented global forces. You have wars in regions that we don't control, inflation that bites into our economy, climate shocks Climate shock is threatening our farmers, and the digital transformation are already rewriting the world, how the world is doing business. And I would like to begin my session, but not for us to ignore the truth. Like I will always say, Nigerian is not lacking in talent, resources, or potential. Our lack is the full inclusion that is causing us competitiveness. A country where half of the population are women and they are not properly included, that means that is where we are really lacking in. And so that is where I'm going to be speaking on today's topic that I've been given is mainstreaming gender inclusion in trade, removing barrier, unlocking the potential. Like I said, I'm asking questions, I'm answering, and some of you can answer the question. I say, can Nigeria truly compete globally if we keep half of our population, which we know are women, at the margin of trade? Can we speak of prosperity when the entrepreneur powering our market are excluded from trade finance, logistics, and policy making? Today, I'm not just here as the president of Organization of Women in International Trade, but as a voice for millions of unseen women traders whose hands build wealth, but their names really make it into policy document. Gender inclusion is not about charity. It is about strategy. It is about unleashing a wave of economic resilience that country desperately needs. That is what Nigeria needs now at this point. So as I dive into my presentation, I will invite you to see gender inclusion not as a box to tick, but it is a necessity. Nigerian in a shifting global trade landscape. When you look at the geographical instability, first from around the world, you have conflict in the Europe, Middle East, and Asia. And even in our country, Nigeria, they are reshaping trade alliances and supply chain, because in Nigeria, a lot of us cannot go to the farms anymore. And Nigerian depend on agriculture for their export. Yes, we know services is providing over 50% of the non-oil exports, but don't forget agriculture and things like fashion are where women are real key players in the industry. You have the climate change. Climate change is the backbone. Climate change, agriculture is the backbone of Nigerian trade, already suffering from erratic rainfall. You have flood, you have drought. We have to look at what the government needs to do for that. And they need to work directly with the private sector to solve all these things. You have the rising inflation and economic volatility. Persistent inflation is impacting consumers' markets, production costs, and investment. I wouldn't want to go deep into that because our Prof has really talked about that. You have the tariff all around the world hitting one another. Then at the end of the day, this is really deciding how consumer market and the consumer trend will play. It's affecting the production cost and the investment flow as well, because we don't have our own money. We are depending on foreign investment. You have the digital disruption. Artificial intelligence, fintech, and e-commerce are becoming a trade game changer, creating new winners and new losers. For us in Africa and for us in Nigeria, you and I already know that women are back when it comes to education. So how do we bridge this gap to make sure that we are not left behind, that at the end of the day, that we are able to meet our own partners across the globe and drive trade. The implication of all this is countries that will thrive will adapt quick. They have to adapt quickly. They have to embrace innovation, and they have to leverage their full human capital, especially women. I hammer on that, especially women. Women are key to economic growth. The AFCFTA, like everyone has talked about, is a game changer for Africa, but Nigerian has to act strategically. It is not just a policy document. It is rare, and it is a powerful opportunity where we have the opportunity to assess the continental market of over 1.4 billion people. We need to know how to drive intra-African trade in key sectors like the agriculture, the fashion, and services that a lot of us has talked about. But how do we do this? We need to reduce trade costs. Our overhead cost in trade is almost the highest in Africa. When I export, I have a lot of women exporting, and thank God for the launch of the Uganda airline, which is giving us some leverage, but it's not going to all the countries. So we need to look at things like that, because yes, we need to support women. We are not asking you to raise down the trade barrier, but we need to have some support. We need to simplify the cross-border procedure. But how can the promise of AfCFTA work without first delivering itself? Nigeria must move from policy promise to practical inclusive action, including infrastructure, technology, logistics, and strategic partnership. Nigerian path to trade competitiveness, inclusion, and diversity. To become competitive player on the continent and global stage, Nigeria must urgently move away from our over-dependence on oil, expand the non-oil export, especially the agro-processing, creative industry, and service sector, where women too are playing majorly there. Integrate MSMEs into formal trade system and value chain. We need to privatize inclusive policy reform that will empower women, youth as key trade actors. Women dominate Nigerian informal and MSC sectors, particularly in agriculture, textile, and retail trade. Yet, we are faced with institutional barrier in assessing trade finance, export logistics, capacity building, and compliance with standard. I am happy with the presentation of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, that they are really putting things together to make sure that women can upskill through some of their programs. So it's key for gender inclusion in our core strategy. Gender inclusion is not a token consideration. It is a central leverage for national resilience, economic growth, and global competitiveness. When we empower women in trade, we don't just empower individuals, we multiply income, unlock untapped markets, build resilience, value chain, and drive GDP. What are the missed potential, which is the slide 2? Women as economic drivers. Women are not absent. They are underutilized. In Nigeria, women are at the heart of our economic activities, particularly within the micro, the small, and the medium SMEs. The number speaks for themselves. Nearly 40% of SMEs in Nigeria are owned or led by women. Women dominate sectors. I've mentioned the sector before. And then the informal cross-border trade. When you can look at the ITC and the UNTA statistics, you will see that when it comes to informal trade, you have more women playing. And today, you are having more women going into exports. Women are primary producers, processors, and marketers of agricultural produce. Despite all this, the barrier to inclusion, why women are left out. Though active, women face persistent systematic barrier that prevent them from scaling. I just break them into 4 pillars. You have the access to finance. Women-led business often lack this collateral or formal credit history, limiting them to trade finance, grants, and capital expansion. Existing financial instruments are not gender sensitive. Loan application processes are often unintentional discriminatory. You have the limited market linkage. Many women entrepreneurs are confined to local or informal market without access to cross-border buyers, trade fairs, e-commerce, and platform. The IATF is coming. How many women are we going to be feeding from Nigeria to the Algeria program? Please, I am happy the Export Promotion Council woman is here. We would love to have more women going to showcase. If you go from north to west, from south to east, our women are producing very qualitable products, and this can stand side by side with the male counterpart and women from other countries. I have counterparts from across Africa and the globe. I see the support they get from their governments. I would like that same support. We have 3. We have poor representation in policy making. Women are vast, underrepresented in the space where trade policies are designed. Without a seat at the table, their reality are excluded from the policy around logistics, custom compliance, and export incentive. These barriers are not just gender issue. They are a national competitive issue, and we should address it. The consequences that is we now have a wasted capacity. Women are present, working hard across value chain, but they are not equally empowered to thrive. We are initially trying to compete on a global stage with half of our productive capacity. This is not just fair. It is an economically recklessness, and we think it is high time we correct it. My slide 3 will just talk about the main barrier to gender sensitive trade. Why aren't more women thriving in trade? Despite their visible participation in the economy, women in Nigeria face entrenched barriers that keep them on the margin of formal trade. They are not isolated issue. They are interlinked and systematic, limiting women's ability to scale, export, and integrate into regional and global. First is the policy gap that I always talked about. The policy gap that do not see women. Most trade and export policy in Nigeria are gender blind. They are designed within adequate consultation. So I will hope from our communique from here and from my sister sitting at Export Promotion Council, we have a minister at women. We are hoping that some of these wrongs can be rewritten because they are affecting women differently. Women's unique role, challenge, and contribution are visible in many national framework and AFCFTA implementation, but we have the lack of institutional mechanism. We have the financial inclusion, which I've talked about, and we have to look at grants because we already have limited access to grant and export insurance, pre-shipment financing, cut women out of supply chain participation. The number 3, we have the knowledge gap, which is the missing foundation for scaling. Many women traders lack exposure to export readiness training, trade documentation, quality standard, and digital marketing too. There is a widespread digital trade literacy gap, particularly women from the rural area, where access to technology and ICT has remained very low. Without technical knowledge and mentorship, women remain stuck in low-value, low-scale trading cycle. Trade knowledge is power, but if it remains unequally distributed, there will be a problem. Logistics and safety, a risk road for women. Women especially are the informal border traders, but they face unsafe border crossing, extortion, harassment, and lack of gender-sensitive trade infrastructure. Many lack access to storage, cold chain, transportation, and export warehouse, putting them at advantage compared to men-dominated enterprise. Insecurity in the border too remains an issue. We've talked about the market access, which I'm happy Export Promotion Council, WTO, is supporting in making sure that women will no longer be excluded, but they are going to be included and be carried step by step. We don't want to be seen as checklists, but we want to be carried step by step. What must be done? There are 4 pillars of what must be done. If we're serious about unlocking Nigerian competitiveness, we must move from conversation to concrete intervention, transforming trade for women. By extension, the entire nation requires systematic reform anchored on 4 pillars that I have put as somebody who is working on trade, which is the gender responsive trade policy. Please, can you share slide 4? This was in slide 3. Please share slide 4. Yeah. So gender responsive trade policy. What gets measured gets managed. We should not ignore, and it will become a barrier tomorrow. Integrate a sex desegregated data and gender impact assessment into all trade policy, especially on the AFCFTA implementation work. ensure women representation in trade negotiation team, advisory committee, export policy dialogue at national and regional level. We should adopt a national gender and trade action, which I know the Ministry of Trade have one, but we want it to be active. One was created in 2022, but this is not active. I noticed that the Minister of Trade has just created a private sector sitting. We don't have a women organization sitting there, which we should be practical when we are setting up. To have women voices being amplified and being heard is what I always advocate for. Institutional agenda decks in trade-related MDs, which is across all ministries, departments, and agencies. Ensure capacity building for gender mainstreaming across policy and regulatory institution. The other one is financial access and trade support tools. Women don't need more training, they need more capital. Create a dedicated export finance window for women-led business. Yes, we have through the Nexim, but women are not able to access that loan. They will send you back and front. I have some of my women whom I can present as an example for you because they've tried. Private financial institute backed by guarantee and technical assistance. Reform trade agencies. I don't want to mention, we all know the trade agencies that need. An Export Promotion Council needs to put more into their women in export to see that women were really getting this. You need to simplify the trade facilitation procedure, the custom documentation registration for SMEs, and reduce the bureaucracy that is affecting women. Scale grants and guarantee scheme for women in agro-processing, fashion, and value-added exports. We look at this, sorry, I just have a few minutes to round up, I know. We look at the skill and digital empowerment, roll out targeted training in export readiness standards compliance, e-commerce and digital tool for women in trade, build women-led innovative hubs, focus on key value chain as agriculture, fashion, creative, economic, and service, support capacity development in branding, and I was happy she mentioned it, trade intelligence and market access, tailored to low-tech environments where women operate, and the market and access trade network, expand and strengthen women-led in networks such as OWIT and other women organizations. We have over 100 in Nigeria. And we are talking about, please provide peer-to-peer support, mentorship, and policy advocacy. Facilitate matchmaking programs to connect women businesses with buyers, investors, aggregators, and regional distribution under AFCFTA. Enable participation in regional trade fair, buyers mission, and online B2B platform, and information supports. Impact in women action, which is my last one. Please, the last slide. Examples that work. As we move from policy to practice, it is critical to shine a light on self-real stories. These are not theoretical ideas. They are working example. Women in fashion. You have the global market and local identity. Nigerian women-led fashion brands are now digitally exporting Accra ready-to-wear collection to Europe, North America, and diaspora. These entrepreneurs are leveraging social media, online platform, and e-commerce to bypass traditional barriers. You have the agro premier in Ondo that has scaled value for women in cassava processing. That is something you should look at. For us in OWIT Nigerian is from voice to action. OWIT Nigeria, under my leadership, has been instrumental in joining the trade negotiation team during the AFCFTA to make sure that we had a gender inclusion in the policy space and providing and including the AFCF space. Even at the national and the regional level, OWIT was an active player. We support members to scale their business internationally through mentorship, trade mission, and capacity building. Creating market linkages in Africa alone, we are creating market linkages in 12 plus countries, and in around the world, we are creating marketing linkages in over 35 plus countries. We're supporting to empower women and entrepreneurs to move from formal trade to global export. Lessons, when women organize and represent, they become force in trade transformation. Data is clear. Data is clear. For me to round up this, I will have to beg. Lessons, key point, this we have to unlock trade growth through inclusion. As we bring this discussion to close, it is clear we must remove structural and financial barrier for women in Nigeria to thrive. Women, we must unlock women trade potential with intentional trade policies and tools for them to be able to do the scaling. It matters. Inclusive trade is not about fairness. It is about economic logics. Studies show that closing gender gaps in trade participation could add billions to Nigerian GDP. Inclusive SMEs are more resilient, create more jobs, and build value. Our call to action: let us trade smart, let us trade fair, let us trade together. As we step into the opportunity of AFCFTA and reposition Nigeria in global trade, let's remember the future of trade is inclusive, and inclusion is not charity. It is a smart economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Please, a resounding applause for how you can feel that her passion is palpable. You can feel that she's really passionate about what she's talking about, and she's a practitioner. I've known her in the industry for over a decade. I celebrate the incredible work you're doing, and all the women from OWIC that are on the call. Thank you for the incredible work you're doing as well. Thank you. Please, there is an applause for her as she, please just celebrate her. Abuja Enterprise Agency, thank you so much for being on the call with us. We appreciate you, and our regards to Dr. Chidi, your acting MD and CEO. Thank you very much. At this time, we're trying to get one of our panelists just drop off the call. We're going to question and answer. We have quite some of them. If you have a question and you want to unmute yourself, please indicate by raising a hand. You're going to be given an opportunity to unmute yourself in sequence as you raise your hand. So if you have a question, please raise your hand, and of course, be very brief with it and direct to a particular speaker. But before we go into the question and answer, I said something very critical earlier. This is one of the moments we have been waiting for, about some of the initiative that we are launching. And of course, we're going to be doing that in collaboration with a lot of our partners. Everyone you have on the call today, NEPC, OWIT, AfriLabs, and all of them, we've got partnership with them to see how we can help you facilitate your business growth. How can you facilitate access to market? How can you facilitate investment? How can you get investment? AfriLab has shared with you what they are doing, and we at World Trade Center as well will be more than happy to share with you what we're doing in facilitating investment into critical sectors of Nigerian economy. And of course, at this time, we want to launch our Export Launchpad and the WTC Abuja Trade Desk. And to do that, please permit me to welcome the Vice President of World Trade Center Abuja, Mr. Ahmed Karim Adelaja, for the next 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Distinguished guests, panelists, partners, colleagues, and friends. Thank you once again for being a part of this important conversation on Nigeria's trade competitiveness. Your insights today, perspectives, and shared commitments have made today's session both enlightening and impactful. As we reflect on ideas exchanged today, it is my honor to mark a new chapter in the journey of the World Trade Center Abuja. Today is not just about identifying barriers. It is also about taking action. It is about offering solutions that are practical, scalable, and long overdue. So with great pride, I officially unveil 2 transformative initiatives: the Export Launchpad and the WTC Abuja Trade Desk. Export Launchpad is WTC Abuja's flagship business accelerator. It's built to empower Nigerian exporters, especially small and medium-scale enterprises, to compete successfully in international markets. It will provide export-ready diagnostics, sector-specific market intelligence, packaging and compliance advisory, and access to logistics partners, trade finance, and verified international buyers. It will also serve as a pipeline for AFCFTA trade, ECOWAS regional integration, and global exports, focusing on agriculture, manufacturing, the creative economy, and services. Now, our vision is simple. We aim to ensure that no viable export idea in Nigeria fails due to lack of knowledge, access, or support. The second one is the WTC Abuja Trade Desk. This will function as a dedicated liaison and support hub for exporters, offering market entry and regulatory support, documentation guidelines, policy issue escalations, and business matchmaking through the global WTC network. It will also work closely with chambers of commerce, trade agencies, international partners, and the like. The trade desk reflects our belief that WTC Abuja must be more than just an iconic address. It will become a bridge to global opportunity. Now, the question is why now? These initiatives directly respond to the constraints we've explored today, all of the speeches that have been delivered. They are tied to limited export preparedness, fragmented support, and restricted market access. They are also aligned with Nigeria's economic diversification agenda, the AFCFTA implementation, the AU Agenda 2063, and the UN Sustainable Development Goal 17, the Partnership for Goals. So we invite stakeholders across government, business, and development institutions to collaborate, co-create, and leverage these two platforms. Upcoming programs under the Launchpad will include the export clinics, the virtual market access fairs, and target capacity building workshops. The Export Launchpad and Trade Desk are not just initiatives, they are declarations of intent. Our commitment to action, resilience, and inclusive economic growth. We dedicate them to every Nigerian entrepreneur with a world-class product and a global dream. So with that, I hereby officially launch the Export Launchpad and the WTC Abuja Trade Desk, Nigeria's gateway to global trade excellence. And today, going forward, we aim to build a new generation of export champions together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice President. I think you need to give a resounding applause. Thank you, Lori, for being the first person to even call. Thank you. All right, you should give that to us, what we have done. If you check the chat room, the correct contact has been shared with you. And of course, by the virtue of your participation in this webinar as well, we're going to make sure that we circulate an email to this regard on how you can leverage this platform for your business expansion. Thank you again, Mr. Vice President, for that remarkable launch. Congratulations to every exporter, congratulations to Nigeria, and thank you in advance to our partners and relevant stakeholders on this call, including the government present here, on how we're going to collaborate to make this happen and make it work for Nigeria. One thing is clear: we are your most trusted partner in expanding your market. Because if you look at our global network of 333 World Trade Centers across over 120 countries, that's a major network for you to expand your business. However, we're not going to close this call until we answer the questions of some of the people in this place. So please, if you have questions, please raise a hand. Thank you. I see the room already. Thank you. The room is buzzing with applause. Thank you, Mrs. Blessing Irabo. It's a win for Nigeria, indeed. I agree with you. If you have a question, please raise a hand, and I'll be more than happy to recognize you and yield the mic to you, right? There's a question for you, Professor Aremu, and I really would like to you to maybe at this point unmute yourself and possibly, if you're still here. Professor, please confirm to me that you're still here with us, sir, so that I can ask the question. Yes, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. So one is asking, Fumbi is asking that, how do we strengthen our services sector in Nigeria? Our trading service, how do we strengthen it? I mean, he or she mentioned that, of course, it contributed significantly to our GDP, as you have said. and trade is non-tariffable. How then do we strengthen? What strategy do you think we can adopt as a country to improve or to strengthen our, sector services, right? Go ahead, sir. Yes, maybe a minute, then I can ask the next question.
A very wonderful question, and let me just appreciate my sister, the executive director for NAPC. He mentioned that they are equally paying attention to trading services because it's the largest contributor to the GDP in terms of growth. Then the question now is, how do we strengthen it? This is a sector that needs to be strengthened. There's so much lack of knowledge in this area. And NAPC actually came up last year to be able to look at this, and I congratulate them for this. I was privileged to be able to address them there. You see, trading goods is very easy. It's just a matter of putting tariff and you sell. Trading service is totally different. Number one, how do you export services? Even in the global economy, trade in services did not actually come until when WTO was set up on the 1st of January 1995. But trading goods have been existing even before the 1947 GATT agreement. So services is very new. And services, there are 12 sectors in services according to WTO. But African Continental Free Trade Area recognized 5 services, and they call it priority services. Number 1, the business services. And then number 2, the communication services. Number 3, financial services. Number 4, travels and tourism services. And number 5, transportation services. These are priorities because African Union discovered that these are areas that will facilitate African Continental Free Trade Area more. But let me say this, to be able to really know more about services, there's still a lot of sensitization. 1, how does services cross-border? Services cross-border under mode 1, that is through internet. Under mode 2, to the commercial, to the presence of the person consuming the services. Like somebody comes from Kenya to my university in Covenant and is trained. That's an export for me because he's coming and he's going to pay me. So that's moving of the consumer to where he's going to enjoy the services. Mode 3 is commercial presence. That is setting up a private enterprise in another country. And mode 4 is temporary movement of the service activities, either in terms of the athlete or a person that moves there to go and perform the service and come back. Now, having known those mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4, there are more things to really know. Before a service can move across border, there's what we call mutual recognition agreement. That is to say that the country where the service is going, number 1, they must actually be services which they recognize under their domestic law. You want to take a service, let's say education, to Egypt, and then under Egypt law, they don't recognize education crossing border. You can't make it. No, they must recognize it. So that means the professional institution that is in charge of education, right, and the one over here must have a mutual arrangement for the crossing border of the services. Now, when you now look at the 5 priority services, under business services alone, which is number 1, we have nothing less than about 12 activities. And equally have subsector. You have professional, which involve legal, this and all those things. Then you go to other ones, transport. You go to trade and tourism. So there's a lot of knowledge that needs to be known to be able to promote this particular sector that is actually adding more to our GDP. I was coming from Nairobi just about a few months ago. And just before you get to the airport, you can see Dangote International Institute of Technology. Even without after, they're already there. Nigerian banks are everywhere, but they are not there under African Continental, which means they are not covered. But under African Continental, there is right of residence, which means this company can go as Nigerian company to go and stay there and provide services. But have they complied with the issue of mutual recognition agreement? Have they been able to look at the document to make sure that the economy actually allowed it? So I will want the DG of NEPC to still go ahead so that what we started last year, we go ahead to be able to do more of it. People are eager to be able to know. People are eager to trade on trading services. And the Blessing Rabot was there. It was in one of the meetings we have with the Coalition of Service Institutions in Nigeria. So we are trying to make sure that we have formed a lot of services, particularly in the 5 priority sector, to develop the sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that very, succinct response. I'd like to ask Mr. Jabala, if you're here, for those of you asking questions about NEPC and how you can get information from them, it is NEPC. You can go to nepc.gov.ng. Madam CEO needed to leave, of course, and if you have all the questions here are going to be forwarded to her as well. And of course, if need be, we'll contact you via your emails, because we can see the emails of those that are asking the questions. But of course, NEPC is one of the organizations I know is quite transparent with information as far as relevant stakeholders are concerned in the export space in Nigeria. So please, nepc.gov.ng, please reach out to them. And of course, there's a contact on the website that we can call at all time. Thank you very much. Mr. Jabala, are you here, please? I'd like to ask you a question. For an average person on the call, who is, Mr. Jabala, are you here? If you can unmute yourself, I appreciate it. AfriLabs?
Yes. Sorry, I lost your network for a minute. So
for an average person on the call who is asking, how can I take advantage of some of the programs that you have at AfriLabs? What is my entry point? I'm not even sure of the niche I want to carve for myself yet. I'm not even sure of how I'm going to go about, leveraging some of these opportunities you shared yet. What would you say the entry point is? This is the question in the group. How can they, reach out? How can they be a part of, what you do at AfriLabs to leverage what you do at AfriLabs to expand their business reach? Yes.
Thank you very much. So it's quite simple. You can go through the website and then send an email to the contact us email. Our team will get back to you. Or you could open a profile on AfriLabs Connect, just as you open on Facebook or LinkedIn. And then you'd also get access to resources. And then you can also go to AfriLabs Academy to begin your learning journey on the innovation ecosystem. So this teaches you how to create your own incubator, your own accelerator, or even become a tech entrepreneur as well. And that is totally free. So we do have multiple bridges to connect. And then for women, you can go to the revupwomen.com website. This is completely targeted at women. And then the unique thing about the RevUp Women is the mentorship side of things. So we try to match female mentors with the mentors they need. For example, if you're a woman with 3 children and you're coming into business, we'll try to match you with a mentor who also has X amount of children and is successful in business. So you can relate with each other, because we realized that mentorship is a very key aspect. Sometimes it's better not to get mentored in the first place than to be mentored by the wrong person. So it's a very, very key aspect of the RevUp Women program. And then there's that whole capacity building support and then funding support as well. So we do have all our channels, social media. Just reach out to us. A member of the team would reach out back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I've got a question here from Mrs. Blessing Rabot. However, before then, we have on the call Mr. Mohammed Nuru Hanwa from Green Bond Corporation in Bangladesh, who is asking that they are willing to work with, reputable Nigerian companies for sustainable development through arranging, future finances for global debt, capital markets, and bonds. So if you're interested in such opportunities, please reach out to us at the contact that has been shared by the host. That's the word we sent to David today at 376@WTCAbuja.com. And of course, and all the telephone number. If you check the chat room, you're going to see there. We are happy to connect you. That is what we do, as a matter of fact. Someone is asking a very profound question to say that she's a woman in entrepreneurship who is running a small business and is looking for a community and wants to join OWIT to scale her business and leverage some of the training programs that you have. Always, can you tell me, can you in 1 minute tell them how they can reach out to you? Is it via website and what? Mrs. Venerable, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you so much. They can reach us through www.owitsnigeria.org, which is our website. And I don't know if it's permitted to drop a phone number that they can call so that we can see how to integrate them and know areas where they really need training. If it's a committee of women or an individual, we'll be happy to welcome them.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So if you want to reach out to Owit, post webinar, you're going to be getting some follow-up emails from us. You get some of the contact with the permission of the relevant organizations. You get some of the contact that you can, leverage to connect to these organizations and get the benefits that and the values that they have to offer your business and your person personally. And again, please not forget to reach out to us. We're going to be sending you a link through which you can register if you want to participate in the inaugural Export Launchpad, where we take you through from zero to export, right? Maybe you don't know anything about export right now. You don't know how to go about your business. You don't know how to go about international trade. We are more than happy at World Trade Center to handhold you. And this we're going to do within the next 2-3 weeks. So please pay attention to your emails before the week runs out, and maybe possibly next week we'll be in touch with you, and please take advantage of it to grow your business. This is how we are solving problem for Nigeria, collaborating with relevant stakeholders, right? I'll pause on the questions right now. I still have like 3 or 4 or 5 questions to go. However, please permit me to invite one of us. We have member spotlight majorly. In case you don't know, we have a membership community called the Global Business Network, WTC, that's World Trade Center Global Business Network. And what we do at the network is to create a platform for Nigerian businesses to connect with other businesses across the 124 countries that World Trade Centers are present. So that helps you to expand your network, expand your reach, and give you opportunity to also diversify your market and attract investment. And we have a few of our members who have been, who have been with us. Some of them are in the United States now. We have some of them in Brazil, from Nigeria, doing business with World Trade Center in Brazil by the virtue of their membership with the at the World Trade Center Abuja Global Business Network. So I'd like to quickly take a spotlight from one of our members who is present on the call. Right. She is the Group Managing Director for Magmia. Please, ladies and gentlemen, for the next 3 minutes, please unmute yourself, Mrs. Osla Gabriel, if you're on the call. Please go ahead.
That wasn't very well.
Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. It is a great pleasure to be on this platform. Having to be on the same platform with these great panelists. I want to say thank you to WTC for giving me the privilege to speak on my company, Magmia General Services. I stand on existing protocols, so I wouldn't waste much time. My name is Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So, Magmia General Services is a leading Nigerian-led enterprise with over 30 years of excellence in delivering tailored industrial and corporate service solutions across West Africa. Magmia General Services actually started as a small-scale business, in delivering branded corporate items, stationaries, and all that. But through our hard work, we actually started working with certain multinational organizations. And we are also into packaging solutions, which we call jumbo bags. Jumbo bags are called FIBC bags as flexible intermediate bulk containers. They are used in culinary, they are used for culinaries, in food packaging industries, and all that. We are also into supply of pallets. We are into supply of reusable pallet wraps and all that. So we started as a small scale business. And at some point, through our hard work, there was an opportunity for our clients to promote local production of their FIBC bags. And we stepped into that opportunity. And through this opportunity, we actually went into production of these FIBC bags. Because at the time, it was challenging because our competitors were Europeans. They usually purchase these bags from from Germany and the likes. But we stepped into this challenge. First of all, our challenge was getting material sourcing for raw materials for production of these bags. Importing was a big challenge. As we all know, we have foreign exchange volatility, increase in import cost, increase every day in custom duties and all of that. But we were able to navigate through these challenges. We're able to source for some local production to also match up these challenges. Some of these challenges were also, as a result of what we produce, we have to do enhanced certifications of these bags. Of course, they are used in food industries, so we have to certify them. We have to do the safe working load test. We have to do the food grade test. We have to do lots of certifications so that these bags can be certified good for use in food industries. But we are able to maneuver, and we are still working on improving our services. But so thankfully for platforms like WTC, being members with WTC has actually helped to enhance this improvement. It has helped to meet, other partners and connections. We have had good network and all that in different countries. We've gone to different countries through the WTC platforms. We have different meetings, and this has helped us to meet partners, that has helped to improve our production line. For our testing, through these connections, we've met different companies that has actually helped in conducting some of these tests for us. And also through these connections and partnerships has also helped us to meet with manufacturers of our raw materials. And yeah, we are actually gaining a lot, and we are looking at scaling up our production. We also supply to other West African countries like Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Guinea, and these platforms has actually helped us to improve our production. And we look forward to scaling up. We look forward to opening more markets. We look forward to opening more markets in Ghana because we have clients there we supply to. So we look forward to scaling up our business. We have actually grown this business individually. Sometimes getting funding and getting grants for this business is actually a lot difficult because of the procedures and the bureaucracy involved in these processes. But we have been able so far to build trust with our customers, to build trust with our manufacturers, so that and we have gotten this far with the trust we have built. So leveraging on this platform, we want to scale up. We want to improve our markets. We want to seek more partners. We want to look forward to more investors. And thankful for this program today. I've had lots of innovations that have come up. Lots of programs are on the pipeline for women-owned businesses. And thank you to the CEO of NEPC. Yeah, the wide grants through the WTC platform, that created awareness for the grant, and we applied for it. So through these programs, like the event of today, has created awareness of some other programs that we are not aware of, and this will also help us scale up our business. So I want to say thank you to WTC for this presentation. Our core businesses are FIBC bags, reusable pallet wraps. We also do PPEs. We are also into supply of pallets and other products. Branding, you want branding for your companies. We are also into that. So I want to say a big thank you to WTC for this platform, for making us to grow thus far. And we are going to embrace all of these programs that we have heard today, because when we grow, the community grows. And when the community grows, the nation also progresses, and that also helps to make the economy progress and grow also. Thank you so much, and God bless us.
We're more grateful to you. Thank you for the incredible work you're doing in manufacturing. If you want to reach out to them, the Magmia's industrial plant is in Agbara, in Ogun State, and you can see www.magmia.com is there, and the telephone number through which you can contact them is right there. Thank you so much for the incredible work you're doing in manufacturing, and we hope that OWIT is going to pick you from here, and you can continue to partner for growth and scaling of your business. Of course, we are doing this spotlight so that people can know the incredible work we are doing at facilitating linkages, access to market, and of course, access to investment at the World Trade Center here in Abuja. Mr. Olaiton Daniel is here. He's the Vice President, Investment and Advisory for Brave Icons. So he's going to be here for the next 2 minutes to also share their WTC journey and their experience here. Thank you so much, Mr. Olaiton. You have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Dr. David. I appreciate. Good afternoon, rather, distinguished colleagues and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Olaiton Daniel, Vice President, Transaction Advisory at Brave Icons Global. It is a great honor to be a part of this session, and I want to appreciate WTC for the good work that you're doing and every participant on this call. Thank you very much. At Brave Icons Global, we are a dynamic management consulting firm, actually headquartered in Abuja. We also have branches in United States, Chicago to be precise, and Lagos, where we operate from. Our core business is segmented into both transaction advisory and talent advisory. At Brave Icons Global, we're actually driven by our mission for continuous strategically collaborating with clients across private, public, development, and diplomatic sectors to develop shared and sustainable prosperity across the board. So that's what drives us at Brave Icons Global. And by doing this, we bridge capital, ideas, and human potential across borders. So we are not just a Nigerian company, we also work with people in diaspora and international organizations as well. Part of our focus is through the transaction advisory, capital structuring. We also have cross-border investment facilitation, which we do for businesses in Nigeria that want to expand outside Nigeria, or businesses outside Nigeria that want to come into Nigeria. We help them to prepare a workable and easy business environment for them to be able to get their business started and running, or even leverage into buying business opportunities in Nigeria. So we also involved in the learning and organizational development aspect of businesses for interested persons. Those are some of the things that we'll do. And some of the highlights of our work that we have done so far is helping organizations that need investments funding to be able to secure that investment. In the mining sector, we've been able to get people to come on board to invest in some small-scale mining, helping them to be investment ready and getting them the debt funding that they need. So we work with governments, we work with investors, development partners, working multinationals. We work with small and medium enterprises. We also have partnerships that we do with Abuja, what's it called again?
Abuja Chamber of Commerce. Amen.
Apart from Abuja Chamber of Commerce itself, even the development arm of the small scale business in Abuja here, we do some training and facilitation for them as well. We do diaspora and global talent management as well. We help to structure strategic organizations strategically and help them develop their organizations in a strategic way as well. So most of our businesses in transactions area are actually more specific. They are more they are designed more specifically to be custom made for each organization, because all the organizations do not have the same challenges, no matter how similar they are or in the same industry they may be. So we work in different industries, like I said earlier, with mining, real estate. So that's part of our business that we do. We also have our business in the multi-family office, where we help Nigerians to make their investment and their wealth to become transgenerational. So whatever they have built over the years, they are not losing it because a key member of the family dies, or the person who has invested or brought about the wealth is no more. So this is what our multi-family office does for Nigerians, and we're also keying this into families outside Nigeria. And because of this part of our business, we have also been able to come into a space which is a kind of a niche market for us, because we represent IIUSA, which is known as the Invest in USA, the Nigerian Forum. We are actually their sole representative. This representation means that anyone who wants to become a Nigerian citizen, an American citizen, for the purpose of global mobility or investment diversification, can actually find out information through us on how to get it done, how to ensure that they are in the right organization, putting their investment in the right places and things like that. So these are some of the things that we do. We're also in the learning and development space, like I mentioned earlier, helping organizations in Nigeria to upskill, including build capacity in different areas, whether it's digital, business, performance management, or customer service. All those areas we are able to help people around that. Another part of our business that we do is help the Nigerian government or governments in Africa, which we are doing with presently with Nigerian government and the government of Liberia, to facilitate funding from outside. So we have funding partners who are in America and Europe, who fund basically federal government or state projects and are interested in funding. So we reach out to them with projects that has been established and are investment ready. So we are able to push it to them and come across. They are able to fund these governments.
Incredible work. Incredible work.
So far, I would like to say that a lot of this has been done not just by our own capacity alone, but also through our relationship with the World Trade Center. And one of the things that we've been able to even achieve recently is through the WTC Delaware Business Engagement Forum in the United States. Recently, we're able to meet the ambassador of Djibouti to the United States, and we are also discussing some opportunities in that area to be able to fund some of their projects that your government is looking at. We're also able to meet some representatives of the U.S. International Finance Corporation to explore how we can get some blend of financing options for the Nigerian SME and infrastructural projects that are going on in Nigeria. And we also met a cross-section of global business leaders and development experts who we are building follow-up engagements on bilateral trades, diaspora investments, and institutional partnerships with. And all this is thanks to the World Trade Center network, which has positioned us for this business for global relevance and sustainable expansion that we are able to get. So we appreciate them. At Brave Icons Global, we remain committed to facilitating growth, innovation, collaboration, especially with Nigerians and diaspora. And we believe that through the networks that the WTC Abuja has given us, we can rise above our local limitations navigate global uncertainties and break barriers to sustainable development. We see a lot of challenges in the industry. We ourselves pass through challenges, but by being innovative and being collaborative, we have been able to overcome a lot of our challenges. And that's one of the reasons why we're able to join WTC. Yes, I'm aware the time is going fast, so let me just round up by saying that being a member of WTC Abuja has been both strategic for us and a catalyst for us at Brave Icons Global, and has played a pivotal role for us in amplifying our vision and access to international platforms. So thank you very much, and we hope to see more of you guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olaidon. Daniel, thank you very much, Brave Icon. We wish you the best in your future engagement with World Trade Center. Continued engagement, actually. So thank you very much, everyone. I see all the questions. However, we need to round up. Okay, I see all the questions. Some of you are asking for contact. Some of you are asking for how you can connect with AfriLabs. We have shared that with you. We have an investor who is trying to connect with Magnia. That is, of course, also going to happen as well. We've taken note of some of your questions and some of your requests. And at the back end, after this webinar, we'll be more than happy to create that linkages. That is what we are here for. But before we go, I would like all our panelists to please unmute their mics and open their videos. We'd like to see your faces. Ms. Ajibola Odukoya, always Mrs. Destiny Rabo, my able vice president. I see you, Mr. Mahmoud, as well. If my chairman and if my president and group managing director of the World Trade Center Abuja is still here, would like to see that as well. Thank you very much, so that we could take a screenshot of this is quite important. We thank all our media partners on the call as well. We thank all of you for coming. We'll be in touch with you on how you can leverage some of the opportunities that we have. Before I take the final word from the Vice President, I'd like to give a minute each to each of our panelists to have the final words. And I'm going to start with, of course, our father. I end with our father. Yes, I think I will end with you. Nasima, please, final word in 1 minute. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, David. Yes, public-private partnership, please. We need to really knock on that and ensure that we grow our infrastructures and improve on them so that we can get better export proceedings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. To the woman in power, Mrs. Destiny Rabo, over to you, please. Thank you.
Probably my final word will be, inclusion of gender is not a checklist, but it is a necessity. Let's trade and let's thrive. Thank you so much for having me on this call.
Amazing. Thank you. Mr. Jibola, over to you, please.
Thank you very much. The future of the world is in Africa, and the most the most unique resource we have is our human resource. And the world is gearing towards Africa. We are the next frontier for progress. So everybody should look towards Africa. And I'd like to also collaborate with my partners and panelists as well to see what we can do together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jibola. And on this note, I'd like to hand over to the Vice President of the World Trade Center, Abuja, to give a vote of thanks and a closing remark, as we call it a day on this call. However, thank you, Oloriboye Ajayi. Thank you to all the government functionaries that were here. We couldn't spotlight you, the representative of the ministers for trade, because we couldn't get your email on time. So we apologize. We acknowledge your office. We acknowledge the Honorable Minister and the incredible work she's doing in championing trade in Africa, and of course, in Nigeria, and invariably Africa. Thank you very much for being present on this call, and all the policymakers on this call. Thank you very much. Mr. Vice President, I'll hand over to you for a final word, and of course, before we call it a day.
Thank you, David. As we conclude today's impactful session, I extend my sincere gratitude to everyone who joined us. Your active engagement has made this dialogue on Nigeria's trade competitiveness both timely and meaningful. On behalf of the World Trade Center Abuja, I would like to express our appreciation to our keynote speaker, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment. Although she was unable to join us due to pressing exigencies, she has sent her warm apologies. We thank her for her invaluable contributions to Nigeria's trade landscape. We also thank Senator John Owa Eno and the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Industry for their goodwill. To David, our Head of Trade Services, thank you for expertly setting the context and moderating today's discussions with clarity and thoughtfulness. Special appreciation also goes to our distinguished presenters and panelists, Professor Jonathan Arumu, for shedding light on how global protectionism continues to reshape Nigeria's trade strategy, Mrs. Noye Ayeni for her strategic insight on strengthening Nigeria's non-oil exports, Mr. Ajibola Odukoya for highlighting the transformative role of digital innovation in driving trade, Mr. Kevin Dele-Oye, represented by Mr. Mahmoud Mohamed, for emphasizing the private sector's vital role in building export competitiveness, and Mrs. Blessing Irabo Oza for her passionate advocacy on gender inclusion in trade. I will also want to thank our spotlight contributors, Faith Bank, Brave Icons, and Mrs. Gabrielle Usola. Thank you for sharing real-world experiences that reflects both the challenges we must overcome, the opportunities therein, and the immense potential we must harness. I would also like to express heartfelt appreciation to the Group Managing Director of Churchgate and the World Trade Center Abuja, Mr. Vinay Matani, for his vision and leadership. His commitment to nation building and economic advancement made today's convening possible. Thank you for providing the platform to spotlight Nigeria's trade future and to drive the kind of meaningful collaborations we've witnessed today. As we build our trade solutions, I must also highlight that the World Trade Center Abuja is not only a hub for dialogue and strategy, but also a premium destination for business. Our world-class commercial spaces, luxury residential apartments, and corporate infrastructure offer unmatched value in the heart of Abuja's capital city of Nigeria. I warmly invite all of you, entrepreneurs, investors, and institutions to explore the unique real estate solutions and business opportunities available at the World Trade Center Abuja. To conclude, today's conversations have laid a strong foundation for coordinated action. At the World Trade Center Abuja, we are committed to translating these insights into practical position paper and stakeholder roadmap. This, we hope, will help Nigeria to chart a path towards trade-driven growth and global competitiveness. May the ideas shared today inspire bold reforms, deeper collaboration, and lasting progress. Thank you once again for being a part of this important journey. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for that very heartfelt appreciation to all our panelists. We can't thank you enough. Thank you all for all of you that joined the call. Please give a resounding applause to yourself in the chat room. I also want to especially thank the management of World Trade Center for making this happen. We thank all the support staff, all the staff and of the World Trade Center here in Abuja who are doing the incredible work that you see, and we follow up on this to make things happen, right? So be sure that you will hear from us before the day runs out. Take advantage of some of the opportunities that are available. Our Launchpad is there, it's launching in 2 weeks. The first training is going to happen in 2 weeks, so take advantage of the early bird advantage, which is free to you. Because you participated in this, it's free to you. So take advantage of the Export Launchpad if you're looking for how you want to go about your export business. Please take advantage of it. You're going to hear from us soon. And of course, our trade and information desk is available. We're going to share information to you concerning that after this webinar, so that you can call us if you have any need. You want to reach out to customs, you want to reach out to any PC, you want to reach out to any relevant government agency, ministry, and department. We are happy to facilitate that for you. Or you want market insights on what is happening in US, or you want to connect to any market in the world, we're more than happy to do that for you through our trade and information desk. So don't miss out on it. Take advantage of it. Together we can diversify Nigeria's economy and build sustainable and inclusive economy for their country, Nigeria. Thank you again to all our panelists. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, all of you. And thank you to the Managing Director of World Trade Center, Abuja, and of course, as well as Shortgate Group. Thank you for the incredible and visionary leadership you have provided for us here at the World Trade Center to do the work we do in helping the country build sustainable and inclusive economic development. Please, our partners will reach out to you. Don't stop picking our calls. I trust that Professor is not going to stop indulging us every time we call him. He's such an incredible man. Thank you. Posterity will be kind to you, sir. Thank you, Mrs. Blessing Rabo, and all of you. Please enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll be in touch. I'll see you in a few minutes in your emails. Please connect with us on all social media. If you want to actually be hands-on, connect with us on all social media at WTC Abuja and at WTC Abuja _Trade Hub. So look for us everywhere, connect with us, send us DMs, information is there, and you can also reach out to us at all times. Yes, for those of you asking for a presentation, of course, you're going to get a follow-up email from us, and yes, you're going to get materials that we serve as reference to things you can refer to after this call. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful Tuesday afternoon, and enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Mrs. Blessing. Thank you.